Ouija, you're going to enjoy going to where Dr. Alexander is. She's wonderful. And the place is so beautiful. And I mean, they're beautiful wildlife areas. And Ashley's already figured out what she's going to do.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Ashley, what time are you starting Friday morning?
So the first slot is at 9.
Okay.
Currently no one has placed that. And then I have 2 people 9:30, I believe.
I'll definitely want to be there for the first people that come.
Okay. I can put you down for 9 and we could do your artwork.
Oh, we're not showing my artwork.
Oh, wait, why not? It's so good.
Oh, Karen, I start it and then when we finish, I don't finish. Can you
That's
see
how
that?
I am. Oh, it's lovely. Oh, yeah, that's great.
But I don't want anyone else to see it. I have to work on it. It's not finished.
No, I hear you. The ones that I've done, I haven't finished either. They're not up to the quality that I usually do.
This is above my quality.
Well, but it's excellent. You're doing. The kids are doing such wonderful work. That's what I'm thrilled about. And I would love to come out, but with my allergies right now, I'm not willing to put my health at risk.
Thank you.
I mean, the most I do is go to my mailbox and I come back and I'm so stopped up and dripping that it's not even funny. So I'm working out here in the house because I can't even walk around here. I'm just staying inside and praying that it's all going to go away one day. But they finally finished the outdoor corridor.
We've got 2. I have to tell everyone about the 6 legs of the butterfly.
Oh, yes, I found it. They're like any other insect. I looked it up. Yes.
The trick with it is the front 2 legs are very, very, very small, especially in that butterfly. So they're really not visible. And they don't have the claws on them. You know, they don't catch on things. So every picture I looked at, there were only 4 legs.
Yeah.
They're there, but not visible. But of course, they're insects. So they have 6 legs. And the interesting thing is caterpillars also have 6 legs. Even when you look at a caterpillar, it looks like they might have 150.
Yeah.
Just look at it because we don't turn the caterpillar over and look at its legs. But it, as the insects, also has 6.
I'll be darned. But so what are we looking at that it looks like it has so many? Is that just hair?
Well, they do have hair and spikes on them, you know, as a caterpillar is, and it's hard to see if it's I never thought about it, for one thing. And just you see it, but you don't see their feet.
No, because they're on something and crawling.
Yeah, their big old body covers their feet.
Exactly. That's interesting. I mean, I'll look that up now after this class. I'm going to go look that up.
Yeah.
No, but I saw the name of the insect that the genre that it is, the butterfly. I couldn't pronounce it for anything.
Not Lepidoptera. Lepidoptera is the whole family of them.
The whole family. No, there was one that I was looking at that I forget. It's a whole long, several different names, and I couldn't pronounce them. And I just thought, but it is an insect, and we were right, and it did have 6 legs. That's what I thought. I thought it had to have.
Well, and you were right.
Yeah.
But when you can't see them, you wonder.
So are we ready to start, do you think, or? How many?
Yeah, it's past 3. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get started then. And everybody, what we're going to do today is the little blue heron. And you got sent 2 pictures, but I'm going to paint the first one because I could see it better. And I've also I've matted out again. I've done the matting, like, you know, using my mat. So I've drawn the mat area, and then so I've cropped it just a little bit more than what the photo is. The photo is beautiful, but what I've done, if everybody will look, the way I'm going to draw it, I cut a little bit more off of the left-hand side like this, down here, so that the bird is now going to be, face is going to be in that eye spot that we talked about, one of the eye spots, and the tail is actually going to be in another eye spot. And one of the other things I'm going to talk to you all about, and this is really important, you know, I've talked about composition being the most important thing. And I've also talked to you about things that are kissing, where they touch each other in a certain way that it distracts. And what distracts me, although the photograph is beautiful, what distracts me from the bird itself, and I want everybody to look at this picture, and look at that leaf above its head. You see how that distracts? It takes your eye away from the bird and out and towards going off the page. So what I'm going to do is eliminate, look, if I put my finger over it, I'm going to eliminate that leaf. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
I'm going to eliminate that leaf and just blend it into the background so that the bird's head will then pop out a little bit more. Okay, does everybody get that? This is important.
Okay.
This is important about composition, okay? And then the other thing, when you've got water, water is difficult to paint until you get used to doing it and know what you're doing, because water has not only the surface on it, and also in some water you can see down, it's got depth, you can actually see through it. Not in this one so much because of all the reflection. And then you've got the reflection of things. So you've got the surface, you've got the depth, and then you've got the reflections of the things that are reflecting on it. So you've got those 3 elements that you have to be aware of when you're painting water. And that's why water is a difficult thing for most people to grasp, to paint. Once you get the idea and once you practice it like anything else, it's not hard to do. Okay, but I just want you to be aware of these things as we get started here. Now, like I said, I've already matted mine out, and you guys can do whatever you want, but I'm going to crop it because my mat was this size, so I'm cropping it exactly like that. So see how I moved the head of the bird over here? Does everybody see what I've done with the composition? So that the head is here and the tail is here. So that's a really perfect composition for the bird, okay? So I'm using and then I'm going to get rid of that leaf right there above the head. I'm just going to blend it into the background so that the bird's head will pop out more, okay? And so now I'm going to start drawing, and if you all want to do yours, you can start along, you can watch me, you can do whatever you want to do. These are some of the prettiest birds that I just love these birds. Now, Ouija, are the little blues, are they kin to the great blue or not?
They are. They're in the little blue heron is in the heron family. And egrets and herons are in the same family. And the little blue heron grows to be about 2 feet. So it's the thing I love about them is that you can recognize them without binoculars. you'd see one and you know it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
This is Zoom.
Does anybody have any questions about what I was talking about the way I cropped it and about water?
Oh, is this for the thing? What? Can you not? You're not on mute.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, thank you.
I was just looking and I was like, oh, you're on an iPhone instead of a laptop.
Yeah, I know.
It
'Cause
wasn't
our
working.
Wi-Fi isn't working, so like my sister has to use her phone on it. So yeah.
Well, I can hear now. I can hear too.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine.
No?
And Ouija, I was looking up, I was just looking at different paintings I've done of the great blue versus the little blue.
Mm-hmm.
And what I noticed is that the great blue I did has an orange part of a bill underneath where the little blue just has the solid blue bill. Is that correct? Is that always?
That's right. And they both have the black tip on the end. And then the
The
feathers
black tip on the end
great
of
blue have a
the
lot more color. Little blues are pretty solid color.
yeah.
As
They
compared
do
to,
have some purplish hues to them.
yeah.
Look, they do, but yeah, they're pretty solid colors. They're pretty solid color.
And they call it the little blue with the color is slate blue.
Please.
It's a what? A what kind?
Really?
What kind of blue did you say?
Slate
Light.
blue.
Yeah.
A little bit of a blue gray.
I like your creative side.
It is.
You see
It looks blue gray to me.
Ya no caliente, pero ahora me voy a olvidar.
And you guys, the other thing that I want you to think about when you're doing this water, you've got a horizon line, and that's always straight unless you're in the air or doing some kind of a jump or something. Your horizon line, because of the way we as humans see things, is always straight. Now with water though, the water, it goes back, but it's still a straight line. You'll see it, there's one line and then it goes back straight.
Is it not working still? Are you sure?
No possiamo vedere noi, so. Non facciamo questo.
Stop, Gianna.
Lala.
I need to see what they're doing. No.
Okay, I think it's
Well, they're drawing. I'll just tell them the herons are really water birds for most of them, like but not the cattle egret, and they can be in salt water, fresh water, brackish water, in creeks, but they're wader birds.
They're
So
wading birds,
They
yeah.
don't. They like to be in water that doesn't come above their belly. So however long their legs are, that's kind of like the kind of depth of water that they wade in. And they wait for their food to come to them. So, so they watch the water.
Dios mío.
Now, do they eat other things other than fish, Ouija?
Yes, they do. They eat crustaceans like crayfish and crabs.
I thought so.
They'll snap at a dragonfly sitting on a lily pad. That's the main part of their diet. They are not vegetarians. They don't eat the things that grow green.
They just eat things around it and on it.
Yeah. They're really protein eaters.
Okay. Do you know what their lifespan is?
Yeah. They can live up to 7 years.
Dame la parte de la.
Wow.
Oh, Squeeza, I forgot the person.
And they're,
I can't.
they're white, and they look like the snowy egret, and they stay the way you can tell the difference though is the snowy egret has bright bright yellow legs and feet, and the young blue has yellowish feet. And then he molts after his first year, and he turns from white to blue. So he's kind of spotted and patchy. And by the time he's 2, he looks like an adult.
Ah.
Wow.
And the great blue has some black spots in it, and it's a darker blue. Is that correct?
It has more variation in its blue.
And yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm going.
Possiamo fare il swipe così possiamo vedere
Facciamo.
chi vedono, per favore, che guarda.
Okay.
Solo vado a vedere.
Freaky, I was surprised to learn yesterday when I was looking up the 6 legs of the butterfly. I was surprised to learn that they can live up to 12 months.
Yes.
I had no idea a butterfly lived that long.
Migrate from the United States down into Mexico and South America would have to live for a pretty long time.
Oh, I guess so. And you guys, I don't know if I've told you this, but when you match something out, go off the page. Go out, just go, always draw off of the line that you're going to be matting, because you don't want it to be right up against the edge. You want your mat to cut off a little bit of the painting always. Okay, that's important to know. I don't know if I've mentioned that before.
I'll wait till you're done. Right?
Sure.
I love this water in this photograph.
Yeah, it's nice.
Isn't it wonderful?
So I took this picture when I was kayaking on Rock Springs Run
Ah,
down to the Wekiva.
I've done that many a time. That's a great run.
You put paint on me? Mama.
Are these particular plants water lilies?
They are. And they would have a yellow flower come up if it were rain.
So they're not water lilies.
Oh yeah, well, their flower would be yellow, but maybe that's not a water lily.
I was just asking
Or
you.
it's spatterdock. Would be yellow. I guess it's spatterdock.
Saturday.
Coming back. Però tu sei portare. Oh, siamo grandi.
And I realize I'm drawing with my pencil, and this one's so fine. Everybody's probably watching me anyway. You're all working on your own, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then I'm just going to keep drawing with my pencil. But just remember what I said about that big leaf over the bird's head. You want to just blend that into the background, okay? It'll make the painting even better. Even when you have a beautiful photograph, you can make it better sometimes. That's the beauty of being an artist.
Look at the. Look at that. So cute.
It's amazing to me the size of some of these leaves compared to the others, Ouija.
If you look at
Yeah.
the shape,
It is Butterfly. The thing about photography in nature is you have to snap it when you see it and then adjust it to what Karen has said on how you make it appealing to your eye by putting it in the right position or cropping.
Exactly.
But things in nature don't wait for you to make all your adjustments.
No, they don't.
we did it. We just both used it.
And you also, you're under the influence of that moving light constantly too. Which is so difficult. That's why I advise everybody when you get a chance to go out into nature and take a sketchbook or a little watercolor set with you and just sketch, you know, as quickly as you can. And then you come home and you readjust it, and it really, you'll really learn how to draw well that way.
Come on, come back to class, please.
Lala, what the fuck did you show me? I'm doing my own burger, the waffles.
That's why I want you to have your class.
Lala, actually, I need a picture too. Mama,
Después dale tu teléfono.
I don't have any batteries.
No debí quitar.
Lala,
So glad people are having fun anyway.
yeah.
De paranoia. Okay.
What? Where's your phone? Can you just put it in the middle? Like, yes, literally right here. I'm sorry. Such a big day. Oh God, Melissa said, what is that? Come on. Did you make yours? And what you make yours? Like a duck sitting on a pond.
I'm sorry, it's just you didn't give me enough room.
Why didn't you do it the way you thought? Why is mine almost
You can see I take my time drawing when I'm doing a painting like this. I always take my time drawing because your painting will turn out better if you have a decent drawing. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
And particularly when you're doing watercolor, which is not an opaque, you really need to pay attention to your drawing. Now there are some people who can go with and just without drawing, just go and sketch with the paint. But you really have to know what you're doing to be able to do that.
Ready, honey?
What's
Or
up?
snap?
It does?
Yeah, so maybe, I don't know how I would do this.
I think we're doing fine here.
Okay, well, I don't think so. What's the code, honey? ¿Tres?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Lavado directo, llama.
No, just need to
Is it
stay
not
on.
brother?
You're already painting, Lala?
Let me get your dad.
¿Por qué?
Te quedas de todo un poco, mas eu vou.
Oh, Dios. Scusami.
Ouija, ever since we've been painting those animals, I've been seeing more lizards than ever. I mean, I knew they were everywhere here because I see them all the time anyway. But I've been seeing them in places that I haven't noticed before. They're
Yeah.
everywhere.
That's what I think it does when you observe nature. Then you want to observe it more closely. You start to see
Exactly.
more and more details.
And you start looking for it. You really do start looking for it. And again, what I said yesterday, you get to see what you actually look for.
No, I didn't say that. I said I wish this was last Or the room with another. Don't you wish this classical boss one again?
Egrets are quiet birds. They don't have a song. And they'll squawk when they're frightened, and maybe when somebody else is, if they have a nest and some other creatures coming around it, they'll make a lot of noise. But basically, they're very quiet birds.
That's interesting. What is the noisiest bird? Probably the mockingbird.
Okay.
The crows are pretty noisy too, because
Oh yeah, they are. Oh, that's right. They are too.
but
No, they did. Love
some birds have really loud voices, like the hawk.
right?
When you get to read it, tell me and I'll read everything. There's a deeper meaning than just the book.
Yeah. Some books like that.
Tell us which paints you're putting in.
I'm going to use basically almost all of my colors
Mierda mía de cuesta.
because there are a lot of ochres and umbers in here.
No, so stinky.
I'm going to use blues, of course, and I'm going to mix that with greens and white to get the right color for this.
Miss.
And the only thing I'm really not going to be using, and yeah, I might even use the red, because opposite colors of the color wheel are what you mix together to get your darks, instead of using just a pure black. And red is the opposite color of green, or green is the opposite color of red. Because I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. Your primary colors are what? Red, yellow, and blue. And equal amounts of red, yellow, and blue give you black. Then you have to have white or use the white of the paper or canvas. But in opaque colors, you have an opaque white, which represents your light. But then the way you get your secondary colors is you mix. Like when you mix red and yellow together, what color do you get? Orange. Red and yellow give you orange. Red and blue give you purple. And blue and yellow give you green. And if you put those in a circle, well, I can demonstrate that for you, actually. That's not a bad idea if everybody wants to look.
Oh God.
I'm going to use the primary red.
We can't hear.
Wait, we can't hear.
Oh, can you hear me now? No?
We should just stay online.
We can hear you.
We can't.
Can you hear me?
Oh, wait.
Hello? Can they?
We can hear you guys.
Okay, I'm
Oh my
gonna show you.
Wait, stop it. Shift command.
I'm going to show you why the color wheel is called the wheel again. I think
I can't hear anything.
you can't hear me.
We can hear you, Karen. It's
Oh, okay. All right.
Wait, what?
You put the primary colors in like a triangle, like I just did here. Red, blue, and yellow.
Oh God, Lana, we have to hear.
Now what I'm going to do
I can ask. Can you guys hear us?
yes.
is I'm going to mix.
We can't hear you. No, we can't hear. You can't hear them. So why don't you say it?
We can't hear you guys.
Nobody can hear me?
Yes, it's just them.
Oh,
What?
well. I'm going to go ahead and keep talking.
Oh, okay. Wait. Is it working?
I hope so.
Oh, yes, it is. I'm sorry. My volume was off. We're just done. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
When I mix red and yellow, I get orange. When I mix red and blue, I get purple. I mix the right amounts of them together. Here's my purple. And then if I mix blue and yellow together, I get green. And you will hear artists talk about opposite colors of the color wheel. And opposite colors of the color wheel are when you mix two together, like, all right, you put red, you do the triangle, red, yellow, and blue. See that triangle, right? Then when you mix equal amounts of red and blue, you get purple. When you mix equal amounts of red and yellow, you get orange. When you mix equal amounts of yellow and blue, you get green. And so then you get another triangle. Like that. So then when you talk about the opposite color of the color wheel, what you're talking about is red is opposite the secondary color green. Purple is opposite, yellow is opposite the secondary color purple. And blue is opposite the secondary color orange. And when you mix blue and orange, you'll get a dark that can be substituted for a black, or it can be a shade. It can be one of your dark areas. Like when I'm gonna start painting these areas in here, instead of using black, because I'm not doing a poster, I'm gonna use the colors of the color wheel. So since the basic color is green, I will be using red and green together to get that dark color. Then I can add a little bit of black to it to make it dark enough. But it'll make it a rich, dark shadow back here by using the opposite color of the color wheel. So you've got your primary colors, which are red, yellow, and blue. And then you've got your secondary colors, which are purple, green, and orange, okay? And that's why it's called a color wheel. And then if you mix more red than yellow, you'll get a red orange. If you mix more yellow than red, you'll get a yellow orange. And so you get your different shades. And then and that goes all the way around the wheel. If you mix more yellow with blue, you'll get a yellow blue. If you mix more blue with yellow, you'll get a yellow green. If you mix more blue than yellow, you'll get a blue green. If you mix blue and red, you get the purple. If you mix more blue than red, you get a blue purple. If you mix more red than blue, you get a red purple. And then each of those is directly opposite what you've just mixed on the other side of the wheel. It's opposite color of the color wheel. Does everybody get that a little bit?
Yes. Yes. That makes sense.
That's it's hard to understand until you use it, but you have to know it. So you've got your primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, and your secondary colors are purple, green, and orange. And then everything in between is whether you use more red or more blue or more yellow when you mix. And that's how you get the color wheel, and that's how as you get very experienced, you'll decide which colors to use. And you'll just automatically know which colors to use to get it right. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay, good. I really suggest that all of you get your parents to buy you charcoal. Get a box of charcoal, and you can buy that at Michael's. And learn to use just black and white. And charcoal's a very fun medium to use in that you really learn the difference between value, between light and dark. Because that's all you got are the black and the white. You got your black and you got the white of the paper. And you can learn very well how to draw with charcoal. And then you can use your pencils and learn to draw. And the charcoal's a little bit easier sometimes than just pencil when you're just beginning. For just using, because you're just using black and white and you're getting the difference in shade. And I'm just putting all my colors out where I can start painting. And I'm going to use what I just told you about primary and secondary colors and the opposite colors of the color wheel. And again, nowadays it's so easy because you can go to Michael's and you can buy all the colors mixed for you. But it used to be, you know, that people just would use the primary colors and get everything they needed to get the painting done. Okay, I got everything here. I think so. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Who pinged? Somebody pinged.
That was my phone, my computer.
Oh, okay.
What else in the cookie?
See what a rich dark I'm getting back here? That's by using red and green together. There's no black in there at all. No black. It gives you a rich, rich color. Everybody's concentrating.
Mhm.
Are you all matting yours out or are you using your full sheets?
One is full sheets.
Okay.
Why?
Ouija, how many eggs do they lay?
Well, they lay between 3 and 5, and sometimes they can be, maybe just 1 or 6. It just depends. And the eggs are, I would love to see one. They're pale blue green,
Ooh.
and both parents participate in incubating the eggs.
Oh,
It's
wow.
in sitting on the eggs, and it takes 3 weeks for the little baby chickie bird to grow before it hatches.
3 weeks and that's it. Huh.
3 weeks, yeah. And then both parents take part in feeding the young. And what they do is they get their food and they bring it back to the chick, and I'm going to say, regurgitate it into the mouth of the bird. So it's mouth to mouth feeding for the little birds.
Oh, but don't all birds do that?
Pretty much they do, yeah.
That's what I thought.
And the nest can be like from 3 to 15 feet up in scrub brush and things. And then after 2 or 3 weeks, the little chick is able to get out of the nest, and it can take short flights. And by 6 to 7 weeks, the bird is independent.
Wow. And then they live 7 years, you said?
And then they live for 7 years. Yeah.
Now, do the parents then, do they rebreed or?
Have another clutch in more than one a year? I didn't come across that. The birds, a lot of the blue herons stay in Florida, and others migrate up to more northern states and out of Florida, and then they come back in the winter. But we have a pretty stable population. And my guess would be, if they had a successful breeding and the birds fledged, they wouldn't be as inclined to have another clutch. But a lot of times when, like if a snake got into their nest and ate their eggs, because snakes love their eggs, they might try to have another, have another nesting.
Uh-huh.
And they do live in colonies. They're social. They live around each other.
I'll be darned.
If you get a chance to go to Wekiva Springs State Park and you walk along the boardwalk down to where the bridge is, and that's where I've seen them on the edge, both the white egret, the snowy egret, and the little blue right there together. And it took someone else to identify for me at the time which one was the little blue heron because it was still white.
Oh, yeah. What it would be the identifying factor?
Well, their legs are not the snowy egret has bright yellow legs and feet, and the young little blue heron has yellow, but it's not a bright yellow. It's like a brown yellow.
Okay. And the great blue has black legs, correct?
I think you're right on that.
Yeah. I have to pull my painting down.
And the adult has gray legs, gray blue legs of the blue heron, little blue.
Of the blue one.
So we know what the blue likes to eat, but they're larger birds and don't have as many predators. But I mean, a gator would get one if it were the time the gator wanted to eat and he could pluck one out of the water, he would. Foxes and raccoons will come after them on the water's edge. But mostly the eggs are preyed on, not the adult bird, because it's a pretty big bird.
That makes
And
sense.
they'll go more for the young herons than the mature ones. So when we talk about the environment and why would we want to take care of these things? But we need to take care of the environment to make sure the water that they live around is not polluted, and because the fish that live in there drink the polluted water, they eat the fish, then they have the toxins or the poisons from the fish in their bodies. So we've become so aware of letting fertilizers wash into our waterways.
Oh, yeah.
There's one of the elements in fertilizer is called nitrogen, and the nitrogen encourages green algae to grow, which chokes the waterways and takes all the oxygen out of it. Mm-hmm. So then the fish don't live, and then the birds don't have anything to eat. So we have to watch what we're allowing to go down into the water.
Yep.
The runoff, like storm drains.
And what do people do with fertilizer?
Well, now they've made new laws. They've taken the nitrogen out of fertilizer because there's plenty of available nitrogen for, I think, maybe May to September. So that won't run off when we start having all the rains. And the other thing is pesticides.
Yes.
That if you think you want a perfectly green yard and you don't, and you have bugs in it, you're going to start using maybe pesticides, but it runs off in the rain too. It ends up in the waterways where the fish live, and it's poisonous to them, and then poisonous to the birds that live on it.
Not to mention the thing with the Roundup.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that's causing cancer in people.
But it takes until we find out how it hurts people that we will start protecting the things in the environment. That gets the attention.
That's so true. That's why you young people have got to be so aware of what's happening in our environment so you can protect it, because it all comes back to us too.
Yeah, that's true.
So like this.
Now this one's fun to paint. How are you all doing? Okay?
Yes.
Good.
On for the picture thing, like the whole T-shirt thing, we can only make it on Thursday because we're doing something on Friday.
Ashley, did you hear that?
Can you repeat that, please?
Oh yeah. For like the photography thing where we get like the shirts and stuff,
Yeah.
we can only do it on Thursday because we won't be available on Friday.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry.
Let's see. Okay, then I'll try to schedule something Thursday. It'll probably be Thursday afternoon.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Just working with everyone's schedules.
That's what you do. When you're in production.
Is there any possible way to do Thursday morning, or it's just Thursday afternoon?
We can do Thursday morning.
Thank you. Look, if I could take the shade of the white.
And you all, when you're painting water, I'm doing this particular water sideways. See how I'm doing it? Horizontally rather than vertically. But then when I go to do my depth, I'll do some vertical streaks. And that's how you do water. That's how you show the surface and the depth. The depth is vertical and the surface is horizontal. And by the way, what is the format of this particular painting? Do you remember their portraits are vertical? So what is this one?
Horizontal.
And what is it called?
Oh, this one.
A landscape. Remember, those are the two formats you have. The vertical is a portrait and the horizontal is the landscape. And that's just because the majority of the time, there are exceptions to every rule, I guarantee it. But the majority of the time, your landscapes are going to be horizontal because you're looking at a horizon, and a landscape usually encompasses more of a span that's horizontal, where a portrait of a person, you just see the top of the head and it's vertical. Well, you sometimes see the whole person, but then that's still vertical. But you can do a portrait of an animal, and that's vertical. I've got a Florida panther that I've got in my lid. It's too big for me to take down, or I'd show it to you. Ouija, you've seen my panther.
That's beautiful. Yep.
And that's a portrait. That's a portrait of a panther.
Okay.
I just want you guys to have a little bit of a grasp of the terminology, because when you become artists, you'll be talking to other artists, and you want to know what they're talking about, and they're going to want to know what you're talking about. It's like anything else. You have to know the vernacular, the verbiage.
What?
It's upstairs. It's in my bathroom. I didn't hang it up. It's just in my sink.
I'm not to go over this. What is that? So, that's it.
And when I talk about doing the water like I'm doing it, you'll hear art teachers talk about strokes. Brush strokes matter because the way you put the paint down on the paper actually makes a difference in the way the paint looks on the canvas. So your brush strokes matter. I'm going to redo this one in watercolor because this just relates to a watercolor to me. Most of my birds that I've done are watercolor. And I would really highly recommend that you all do try out different, I would love to see you try out with watercolor sets. You can buy them at Michael's and just see the difference. And just remember that then your paint, you have to save the light of the paper as your white, because you unless you're using opaque watercolor, you don't have a white involved at all. So you have to save the white of the paper. So I'm going to repeat myself and say you have to paint from light to dark. Well, we're going from dark to light with opaque with the acrylic or the oil if you ever use oil. And a lot of this stuff won't make a lot of sense to you until you actually start really painting and try different medium. Try different media. Different mediums, different media. You know what I mean.
You did that? It's pretty though. I like the yellow.
And Ashley's quite good at using pastels, which are a colored chalk.
Did you get a second plate?
Yeah, I did. Mark it here into my CC.
And I don't know if you all are noticing, but the little blue heron's eyes are yellow.
Karen, you know what I noticed when I was looking at his eye? Like his pupil is forward in the orbit, so you can see where he's looking.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see exactly where he's looking. Such a beautiful bird.
Oh, wow. Imagine you. I'm gonna use my own gray and then
Okay.
that
Good
sounds
idea.
really smart. So
Really, really smart.
To have such young people so quiet, it's just amazing. You all are really paying attention.
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it.
That looks good. No, should I mix the gray and the blue down, or should I do gray on top and blue on the bottom?
What?
Should I do gray on top?
Finish your background now. Finish your background.
But I'm starting yours.
I'm telling you.
Papá que va. Papá que va. Oye, ¿por qué no lo hemos puesto? ¿Ah? ¿Por qué no lo hemos puesto? ¿Por qué no lo hemos
Anybody got any questions?
No.
No, you're just having a ball, aren't you? I hope everybody's really enjoying this.
Yes, it's fun.
Yes.
I hope you all continue to learn about the environment and learn about how to protect it and learn about how to paint it.
Yes, certainly. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, your beautiful party. Let's look at though, right? Let's look at what this is going this way. It's okay, be honest.
Not to me.
Let's look at right? No, it's going like one. No, it's fine.
Tosi. Es el teléfono. Ah, Tosi, sí, en la casa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Io, Gigi.
What's the Lord Saputo, right? Yeah. Yeah, all it's nice, huh? It's a little better. It's good. Yeah. Really, to give it a nice, you know.
That's really nice. Podríamos put the camera in a bit better.
Do you all have essays and papers you have to do?
I do.
Do you get to pick what you want to do?
No.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, you could suggest to the teacher that you get to do something about the environment.
We did one time an essay on the environment.
Oh, what did you do?
It was about saving it, I think.
Let's see.
Do you remember what you wrote about?
Not really.
Oh, well, I bet if you painted it, you remember.
Yeah.
You know what you ought to do? Whenever you do have a paper that has anything to do, well, with anything, I mean, even history, do a painting of it and really impress your teacher.
You have to do it at school.
You have to what?
Usually you have to do them at school.
Oh.
What? A paper?
I know. You can ask them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you have to do it at school.
Paper is not working well.
Cadê? Não parliamo di quello che io dico.
Do you all know if schools are going to open up or what you're going to do?
Yeah, it's official. They're opening. At least, yeah. For our Seminole County is opening.
Okay.
But now they're giving like the option to either take online or go to school.
They are given the option.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
For the fall.
Yeah.
Volevo fare quello.
You volevi andare là a scuola? You wanted to online?
No, volevo che tu lo facevi oggi.
Io facevo questo?
Volevo che tu lo facevi.
Yeah, but we've been having fun.
Oh, io l'ho visto questo.
Molto bello quello che state facendo.
Grazie. Grazie.
Oh, I didn't do this thing.
So for the water, should I do then a light blue?
No, I wouldn't. I would do green. You see how I've done mine yellow green? and then go back in. I mean, I haven't done any of the detail yet. My paper is not cooperating, but it won't matter. I'll just go over it.
Pagano mo utilizar el particle and
But remember, go from dark to light. And so I would do what I showed you back here, how to use the red and the green mixture to get that dark, rich color. And then I would do some darks in the water first, and then come back in with, remember, you work from dark to light when you're working with the opaque color.
Okay. Thank you.
yeah. And it's more transparent. Yeah, è bello. Dobbiamo fare vedere tutto a tutti. What? What?
So Ashley, everybody knows where they're going for the photo shoot?
No.
So I posted the location on the Google Doc that I sent out. So the address is on there, and it's gonna be at Dr. Alexander's estate. And there we'll take a headshot and then a photo with you and your artwork, and then all the artwork images.
Yeah. So make sure you bring your pieces with you.
Yes. And then I also have listed all the t-shirt sizes so we can give you guys the Orlando International Film Festival shirt.
Should we just say the size now, or should we just do it?
Can you repeat that?
Oh, should we do the sizes now, or just inside on the Google file? Like you know right now the size?
Yeah, you can tell me it now if you have it.
Yeah, it'd be small adult.
Small adult.
Okay.
And non-small.
Leticia, you go back with a small adult or a medium adult? What? T-shirt, small adult or medium adult? A medium adult for Lala.
And a medium adult.
We'll pick brands and si sono poco grande.
I felt so bad for her. I think so.
No, that was someone else. Lala.
What?
So you're adult medium, you said? Yeah.
L'ho detto.
L'hai detto, Domino? L'hai detto?
Non so se l'ha preso.
Oh, ask him.
You got the adult medium, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I never thought it was really hard to use it.
Thank you.
Okay, and then there's too many.
Thank you. I want to do dual color, so this color. Because I don't want to do the burger like that, because then the burger.
What color is the bird?
Gray.
The blue. I want to do
Oh, mine's gonna be gray.
Okay, that's
we
why.
want
Yeah.
the bird to pop out.
Yeah, it's gonna be gray.
Okay, we go. Where's in Vermont? Where's it out? Because I have my work. Oh, en el occhio, I need to better simplify el occhio, no?
Yeah. Cosa fai?
Non ho capito.
Thank you so much. These classes have been really fun.
They have been really fun.
Oh, I am so glad you guys have joined me. And, you know, like I said, if any of you keep studying the environment and decide to take care of it and keep learning to paint, it would thrill me no end. Because that's what it's going to be all about. I mean, I think everybody is learning, you know, that the environment, I mean, like I said, the planet doesn't care. The planet's going to continue to be here. But as humans, for us to survive on it, we have to understand, we have to take care of it. Because, and the animals are such a big part of you know, of keeping it good for us.
Yeah. That's true.
And I'm just so glad that you all joined me in this class. And I would love to hear from you. Do you all have my email address?
No.
Ashley, can you send them that?
Yes.
Could you do that? Send them my email. And if any of you would like to show me paintings, you can email me. If you take a photograph and email it to me, I would happily talk to you about it. If you have questions when you're doing anything. And, you know, my friend Susan and I work on the phone a lot now. That's how we do it. She'll send me a picture of what she's working on, and I'll tell her what she needs to do to get it right. And she'll go, wow. And then she'll send me the finished product, and it's unbelievable. So I'll be happy if any of you want to continue that way. Feel free to email me.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah, we'll do
definitely.
it, definitely.
I would happily do that with you all, because it would thrill me that you all keep going with this, really.
Yeah, we would love to. Yeah, you got like me personally really interested in art.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you guys just, you know, make sure you leave your name and when you email me, and the painting that you're doing, just take a photograph and email it to me, and I can definitely critique you, and I'll be happy to. When you all email me, the ones of you who want me to critique your work, when you email me, send me your phone number so that I can call you back and talk to you about it. Okay, rather than just do an online critique, I can talk to you on the phone about it. Okay, so make sure you give your name and your phone number, and I will call you back. It may take me a couple of days, but I'll call you back and find a time when it's convenient to be able to critique your work. And I would happily do that with you. Okay.
Thank you.
We're all busy.
I'll just take the time now to remind everyone to put in their names on the photography day Google Drive worksheet, so we know what time you'll come. And then I will put in a Thursday, Fernandez's Thursday. Does 10 o'clock work for you in the morning?
Yes.
Yeah.
That should be good.
Okay, we'll do that then.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions for me before we wrap things up here? No questions.
No, I just remind them to use their eyes for their cameras.
Yes.
Realize they're taking pictures, and process or think about what you've seen and try to recall it in your mind. And I was thinking after we talked about it, your eye is also your camera. You see things moving too.
Yep.
And just recall what you're seeing.
And also don't forget, you all can find anything online, and take your cameras out if you've got cameras, or if you can use your phone as a camera, and take a picture of something you see, and then look it up online, and really learn about the subject that you're painting. It really makes a difference while you're painting. It makes you more passionate about it. And also it'll teach you, why it's important to the environment, and therefore why we need to keep protecting the environment. It's just so important. And I'm just so happy to have met you all online, and to have been able to hopefully give you a few good pointers that will help you go on with your careers in art and the environment.
You've both been really good teachers. So
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever done it remotely, so it's difficult for me. That I've like I said, I've taught for close to 30 years privately. And at one point, when my son from elementary school through high school, I would have kids at my house. At one point, I had 15 or 20 children at my house on a Saturday, teaching them all. And a couple of them have become really fantastic artists. One of them actually went to Juilliard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. So.
I had a question for Miss Ouija.
Yeah.
Do you take the pictures, or do you find them? Like, have you taken?
I do take the pictures.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do take them. I like to spend time out in the environment. I love to kayak, but I spend time, a lot of my pictures are really just from my yard, for the things that come in.
Well, you have a big, beautiful, beautiful yard with a lot of space for wildlife.
a lot of space. I feel very blessed to have what I have, and to have seen what I've seen. But look around, see. I mean, if you sit still, things come to you.
Yeah.
That's true.
And just sit still and look around.
Yeah, yeah. Ouija, when you take photographs, do you have a special camera, or do you just use your phone?
Well, I use both. Of course, the phones weren't very good for a long time.
Well, I know.
So I do have a camera. I have it's called a single lens reflex camera.
Oh, okay.
But it's digital.
Oh, okay. See,
I can zoom in. I can zoom in on things. And I'll have to tell you, on your, how many of you all have phones? I mean, you don't have to tell me, but because I won't be able to see that. But I found a little app that I added to my phone, and it's called, I have to tell you what this is. It's called Maglite. And so when I want to take something up close and have it in focus, I can go to this app, and it takes amazing pictures.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's just my phone.
Magic app?
No, it's called like magnifying app. It's a magnifying glass.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That makes sense.
It can see details I cannot see. When I want to see the details of something, I'll use it.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Well, everybody, I thank you for being a part of this project, and I hope you've had fun. I hope you've learned a lot, and I hope you all keep in touch and keep doing wonderful work.